In 2023, Julia Roberts faced a revelation that left her visibly shaken. While participating in a genealogy television series, she discovered that her ancestors had owned enslaved people. Records showed they worked a 2,000-acre plantation, with children as young as 6 forced into labor. As the information unfolded on camera, her reaction was unmistakable. The timing of this discovery felt especially cruel. Her career was under renewed scrutiny, recent projects were underperforming, and her personal life was quietly strained. For a woman once seen as untouchable in Hollywood, the ground felt unstable. Julia Fiona Roberts was born on October 28, 1967, at Crawford Long Hospital in Atlanta, Georgia. She was the youngest of 3 children raised in a home immersed in theater, creativity, and struggle. Her parents, Walter Grady Roberts and Betty Lou Berdemus, met while performing for the U.S. Armed Forces. By the time Julia arrived, theater work had slowed dramatically after the Vietnam era, and the family was nearly broke. They could not even afford the hospital bill for her birth. At that moment, Coretta Scott King, the widow of Martin Luther King Jr., stepped in and paid the entire cost. The gesture was not random. The Roberts family ran one of the only racially integrated children's theater workshops in Atlanta, and the King children had attended classes there. Walter Roberts had personally coached Yolanda King. Years later, Bernice King confirmed the story publicly, describing it as an example of her parents' values and generosity. Julia grew up surrounded by scripts, costumes, rehearsals, and voices filling the air. Her family's workshop was a haven in a deeply segregated South, welcoming children of all backgrounds at a time when such inclusivity was rare. Her heritage spanned English, Irish, Scottish, Welsh, German, and Swedish roots. Her mother was Catholic, her father Baptist, and the household carried overlapping traditions. Even as a toddler, Julia wandered through rehearsal spaces, absorbing storytelling long before she could understand its power. Behind the scenes, life was fragile. Walter's health deteriorated, money problems worsened, and the pressure to keep the workshop alive mounted. Still, creativity remained constant. That stability shattered when Julia was 4 years old. In 1972, her parents divorced after 17 years of marriage. Betty Lou later married Michael Moats, and the atmosphere in their new home turned frightening. Moats drank heavily, rarely worked, and erupted in violent rage. Julia later described him as the darkest chapter of her childhood. Objects were smashed, screaming was routine, and fear became normal. Julia often escaped to friends' houses just to feel safe. Her brother Eric later admitted he feared for his sisters during those years. Betty Lou eventually left the marriage in 1983, calling it her greatest mistake, but the damage had already been done. Loss followed closely. Julia's father died in 1977 when she was just 10 years old, leaving a void that never fully healed. Eric Roberts, already finding fame, spiraled into addiction. His behavior frightened Julia and her sister Lisa, and their relationship fractured for decades. Years later, Eric acknowledged the harm he caused and publicly apologized, admitting that addiction had driven his family away. Another deep wound came in 2014, when Julia's half-sister Nancy Moats died by suicide at age 37. The coroner confirmed she drowned after ingesting drugs. Handwritten notes she left behind fueled painful speculation about family trauma and emotional neglect. Julia never addressed those claims directly, releasing only a brief statement expressing sorrow. The tragedy reopened old wounds and reminded the public that the Roberts family history was far from glossy. Despite the turmoil, Julia pressed forward. She graduated from Campbell High School in 1985, and initially dreamed of becoming a veterinarian. Watching Eric act changed her path. At 18, she moved to New York City with little money and big hopes. She signed with a modeling agency to pay for acting classes, though she never fit the runway mold. She survived on minimal income, took odd jobs, and attended countless auditions. Her first acting role came in 1987 on the series Crime Story, where she portrayed a rape victim. The role shocked her family, but her performance showed emotional depth well beyond her years. Her early film work was modest. She appeared briefly in Blood Red, filmed in 1986, and lived on about $300 a month while continuing to train. Rejection was constant, but persistence paid off. In 1988, she appeared in Satisfaction and Miami Vice, earning attention for her charisma. That same year, Mystic Pizza changed everything. Her portrayal of Daisy Arau lit up the screen, and critics immediately took notice. The film's success opened doors, and within a year, she was cast in Steel Magnolias. Though the movie was a hit, the experience was painful. The director berated her on set, mocked her appearance, and reduced her to tears. Still, her performance earned a Golden Globe and proved her resilience. Pretty Woman followed in 1990 and transformed Julia Roberts into a global star. Though the role was initially passed over by others, Julia's warmth and vulnerability made it unforgettable. The film shattered box office records and cemented her status as America's sweetheart. Fame, however, brought danger. A stalker threatened her life, leading to his arrest and a decade-long prison sentence. Julia sought therapy, shaken by how admiration could turn dark. Throughout the 1990s, she balanced massive success with growing discomfort in Hollywood's expectations. Films like Sleeping with the Enemy and Hook reinforced her box office power, but she resisted being boxed into victim roles. Her personal life became tabloid fodder after a whirlwind marriage to Lyle Lovett ended in divorce. Later relationships stirred controversy, especially her eventual marriage to cinematographer Danny Moder in 2002. Despite public backlash, their marriage endured. The defining moment of her career came in 2000 with Erin Brockovich. Julia immersed herself fully, reshaping her image and delivering a performance that won her an Academy Award. She became the first actress to earn $20 million for a single film. The victory marked a turning point, empowering her to demand equal pay and creative control. She carried that authority into projects like Ocean's 11, Mona Lisa Smile, and beyond. In later years, Julia expanded into television and producing. She earned critical acclaim for The Normal Heart and Homecoming, proving her range extended far beyond romantic leads. Yet controversy never fully left her. Accusations of diva behavior, creative clashes, and uneven projects followed. In 2023, Leave the World Behind reignited debate, and in 2025, a major box office failure raised questions about her recent choices. Through it all, Julia Roberts remained a figure of contradiction. Beloved yet scrutinized, powerful yet vulnerable. Learning the truth about her family's history of enslavement forced her to confront the past with honesty. She spoke openly about accountability and the importance of facing uncomfortable truths. Her life, marked by trauma, resilience, success, and reckoning, reflects a woman who never stopped pushing forward. Not just a movie star, but a survivor shaped by history, loss, and an unrelenting will to stand her ground.